All right, welcome to the Forge Coffee Break. This is the episode number 53. Thank you very much for joining today. I see that we have a lot of people, 20 people, 20 developers joining today. Welcome everyone, thank you for joining. And the coffee break is a very open space for any kind of topics or questions or kitchen talk that we have, that you have about Forge. So as usual, let me start with you. If you have any projects that you're working on, any questions you have, just raise your hand or open your microphone and go ahead. I see some new names. So yes, Ricky, you can open your microphone. If you want to open your camera, you are welcome to do.
I just wanted to ask if you had the capability of adding connections to Autodesk Docs in the design automation for Revit.
Sorry, you're asking if you're asking if you can add more features to design automation for Revit.
I'm asking if you're able to connect to Autodesk Docs in design automation for Revit, or if you're planning to work on that.
Oh, Autodesk Docs. Is that it? Sorry, it's a bit hard to understand you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess generally I'm asking if you're working on opening up design automation for work sharing.
Yeah. Okay. Work sharing. All right. Work sharing feature is it's in beta right now. So I think we talked about that during data days, and right now it's in beta. So we are doing some additional testing on that feature, and should be available in some time. But it's right now it's in private beta.
So, do you have a rough estimate?
I don't have that yet. I don't have a date for release. The beta, I think it's almost done, but meaning that we are testing. If we find everything's okay, then it should be easy. But no, we haven't reached that point yet. So I have to say that working with work sharing is one thing, right? Meaning that you are actually working with BIM 360 collaboration, right? But if you just want to use non-work shared modules, you can do that with design automation today, right? So the only thing that we are adding is the ability for design automation to edit work shared models, right? So I think that's your question. So just to confirm that we have two different things.
Yes. The reason I'm asking is that we're trying to set up some setup scripts, and one of the procedures is setting up work sharing. Do you think if you imported, say, a model, would you be able to do the work sharing system you're testing? Would you be able to open it up for work sharing?
Yes. Right. So that's the one we are working on.
Right. Thank you.
Cool. What kind of project you have? What kind of automation you want to do with work shared models?
It's really just a setup script. We have a bunch of steps we have to do every time we set up a new project. So yeah. Do you have
that already? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are a bunch of steps that we can already do to the typical design automation process, but obviously work sharing is a big deal that we want to add on to that list.
Cool. Interesting. Thank you. Yeah, so it's a highly demanded feature. We are working on it, and shortly will be, once it's available, we're going to announce on the newsletter, blogs, and the documentation will be there. All right, let me move to Ravi. Hello, good morning, afternoon. Ravi? Cannot hear you if you're talking. Okay, maybe give you a moment. Maybe your microphone is not working. Let me move to Moses for a moment and then get back to you, Ravi. Moses, hello.
Hi, Augusto. Isn't it true that you can open or process a work shared model, but you just can't edit it? Is that the current case right now? So with design automation.
Yeah, so I believe that you have to. The problem is that so the question from Ricky, right? So the thing is that if you have a work shared model, you have to disconnect that model, meaning that you lose the work sharing feature. So it doesn't make sense, right, to work with work shared models. So
well, my case is just to do an audit, save the audit information, and share it. Not to edit the model. So if it's detached, I think that's okay.
Yeah, so the automation for Revit specifically, whenever you open a model, it will automatically try to detach that model, right? So if you
Right.
don't, if you just want to read that model, then it should work. But you have to. So there are a few more things, right? For instance, you need to publish that model. Otherwise, when you run it, the model is not there yet because you haven't published that, right? So maybe you need to run a command to publish, wait until the publish is ready, and then detach, get a copy, detach, and do your thing.
Yeah, let me add a little more. Most customers do a publish, once a week or once every 2 weeks. If you grab something that's not published, you have something that's kind of in an indeterminate state because you've got 5, 10, 50, 100 people who've been making changes to it, and you don't know what they've done until publish happens.
Our teams publish every week, so they're there in the hub published, and I just need to detach and read.
Yeah, so when it's published, you can grab that published model, and you literally might only have, like, typically on a weekend, right? They'll do a publish on a Friday night, and you want to grab the model on, Friday night or Saturday, depending on their publish schedule. Recognizing that, come Monday morning, it's going to get doled out again, and it's going to start becoming a moving target.
Right. Got it. Thanks.
Now, there's one more thing to think about. We are spitting distance from being able to use Revit Design Automation on a work shared model that's not published.
Yeah, that was the question from Ricky, right? That he was asking about the date, but we don't have it. It's in private beta, right, Jim? And it's almost there.
That's right. That's right. I think, don't hold me to it, but I think we're within 2 months of that getting released. We're literally in the kind of sales ops. How do we let this thing out? Where the technical side is pretty much done.
Would that be for both BIM 360? Would it matter if it's BIM 360 or Autodesk Construction Cloud? Would it be? I'm guessing it doesn't matter if it's an unpublished model.
Right. I hope it doesn't matter. I don't actually. Anybody here know on the Autodesk side? I'll go here.
I don't know for sure, but I believe the work shared work with unpublished models, right? So that's the main difference.
Yeah, but the question is, is the new capability going to work with BIM 360, not just ACC?
Oh,
and that's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we need to confirm that.
Yeah, I think no, not here. Yeah, can definitely find out that for next time.
I'd almost bet on it works with BIM 360 because this thing's been in private beta for several months. But you never know what they're actually going to release. So we need to find that out.
All right, thank you, Moses. So Ravi was not able to ask a question, but let me read here. So is it possible to assign sets through the API, like we can when we upload through BIM 360 feature, right? I believe sets are not available. Sorry. Yes, when you create sets or a set of drawings, right? So that feature is not exposed. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm just trying to double check, but I'm like 99% sure. Oh, data management. Yeah, no. So Ravi, so it's a bit tricky, that part in the documentation, but let me show you something here. That when you go to the BIM 360 documentation, right, there is a API reference, and there is a section here for document management. Those are document management specific features, like the BIM 360 docs specific features, right? So custom attributes, naming standards, permissions, and exports. But yeah, the sets are not available. All right. Any other questions or topics?
I could, hello, my name is
Hi.
Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a quick question. We're just starting to play around with design automation and think about how we can apply this to some of our, to speed up some of our processes. So one of our use cases is that, we have a lot of fairly sophisticated families that do specific things related to our product. And we need to update those families into our projects pretty often. And it takes a long time, right? So I have to get someone, every time we release a new set of families, you have to get someone to open up the project and click the button, it's just doing it all locally. So that was one of the use cases I wanted to see if maybe we could do with design automation where, I push all the families up, publish all the families that need to be updated, and click a button, and then design automation starts and triggers a plugin in one of the projects to update those families. So I think that would work fine. I have a plugin that can update locally. It looks out, but the way it works now is that it's pulling those files from S3, from Amazon S3. And so I understand with design automation, I haven't used it before, but I understand that it has no network access. That's one of the limitations. So I'm kind of thinking about like, where would I put those families, or what would be the best way to accomplish this without access to S3? What would be a better way or an alternative?
So if I'm understanding this right, you have families in a bucket or somewhere, right? That
Right.
you want to update on Revit models.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And is there any trigger for that? Like, once a week when there is an update, what is the trigger?
Yeah, when there's an update, so I think would be on demand. We'd, click a button in some interface, or, do something on our end to trigger it and fire off the design automation APIs, on a specific project.
Makes sense. So when we say that design automation does not have network access, right? So that's not, that there's more to it, right? What it means is that you have to provide the data at the beginning. Design automation will run and provide you the results at the end, right? So while it's running, design automation runs as a closed environment, right? Meaning that you cannot really add more information to it. So, but that's not also 100% true, right? You can still use two new features for design automation when you are running the work item. So the first one is that you can use WebSockets. So from your design automation execution, you can send bits of data right in and out in a WebSocket style. So let's say you can listen for updates or listen for new information and just react to it with WebSockets. The other one is that we have open network option that you can, from your design automation execution, request external data, connect to an external source. I believe this is in beta right now. So we need to allow LIII to use that feature. So meaning that you can request data from external sources to connect to the web, right? So it does work like that. So the challenge with both WebSockets and network is that you want to make sure that your work item is executing as fast as possible, right? Because you are paying by the hour. So you don't want to sit there waiting for new information. You can trigger multiple work item executions instead of waiting for something to happen somewhere else. So let me show you a sample here I think that's very close to what you're talking about. And this sample is available with source code as well. It's on GitHub, right? So what it does is that it listens for family changes in a folder. And whenever there is a new version of a family, it triggers a process on design automation to update that family inside the files on that folder that use that family. So there is a video here in YouTube explaining, and I will try to skip this ad here. It was very loud. So there's a webhook saying, notify me when something happens on that folder. And I have a chair and a table, right? Just a family and a model using that family. And whenever I update the family with the chair, it updates the model. The extra in this case is that the family is an inventor file, not a Revit file. But it works the same way, right? We're just creating a new family out of the IPT to update on the RVT. And so the user creates a new family or uploads a new family. Design automation will trigger in the backend, and for the user magically, once he updates to V2 of the family, the model will automatically update to V2 as well, including that family.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds very relevant.
So in this case, well, the original sample was using buckets, right? But the sample was later edited to use a forge buckets, not S3 buckets, just to simplify the setup. But you can easily go back and use S3 buckets as well, or you can use Autodesk Forge buckets, right? It's very similar, the similar concept, except that you don't need a S3 account to use that feature, right? Because it's already using Forge feature. So the sample is here. Let me copy the
Okay,
address.
great. So in this case, with the S3 bucket, is it providing the files from the S3 bucket up front so that it doesn't have to get anything while it's running?
Yeah. So the thing about design automation is that you provide everything you need at the beginning. Design automation will execute and give you back the results, right? So in this case for Revit here, if I scroll down, when you submit the work item, right? Before submitting the work item, you build the URL to download the input from BIM 360, download the input from a bucket, and get the family template from a bucket as well, and upload the results back to BIM 360. So you just tell the system, grab files from different locations, run your thing, and then upload the results back.
Okay, great. I think this looks perfect.
This sample may be a bit complex. You can definitely start with the tutorial, learnforge.autodesk.io, and you go to modify your models. That's very basic. It's a tutorial, so you can get started here if you don't have anything else. That should be a starting point for you.
Cool.
Okay, so as we're talking about design automation, there is something that is available right now. It's a bit more advanced, but it's also interesting that you can use the ADSK debug option when you submit a work item. So for Revit that we are talking about here, for Revit, that will give you the journals back. So that's quite powerful if you're debugging your code. So let's say it works very nicely on your local environment. It works on design automation as well, but sometimes from time to time it fails, right? So you can debug it using the ADSK debug true right here. And by the time it finishes, it gives you back a URL that you can download the debug information, including the journals. So for Revit, that is very powerful and that can help you debug as well. So this is available right now. It was exposed some time ago and we're just announcing now. So that's a new feature. All right, let me switch gears for a moment. I believe we talked a few times about a playground that you're working on. And I think we mentioned last 2 coffee breaks. And I think this is a very good place to share this because there's lots and lots of different people. So let me hand over to Elliot. So Elliot, let's see what you have so far. And it's open for everyone. If you have suggestions, questions, so fire away. And Elliot, you have the floor.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Elliot. I'm a software developer intern here at Autodesk. And what I've been working on is a playground / code sandbox for the Forge Viewer APIs. So it's basically modeled after Replit or Code Sandbox, in that on the left side here, we have sample code. And on the right, you can see the result. When you first load up the playground, you have 3 different model options, Revit, .iam, and DWG. When you click on one of these, we're given different options of what we want to see, what kind of sample. So just like last time, model loads up pretty quickly. We have the whole viewer here. This time, what we wanted to show you is we have a load models implementation that is complete. So now we can load a model. it uploads, it translates. The file name is showed right here. And also we give it a unique ID that's attached to the file name, so it doesn't overwrite in case you upload to the same bucket that we have here that someone else has. And right now they're only stored, models are only stored for 24 hours. And something I'm finishing up right now is that you'll actually be able to go back to this link once it's published. So every time you upload a new model, you'll actually get a unique ID and the file name will show up here, and you can actually go back to it because the translation can take quite a while if you're working with a really big file. So here you can see we have our model here, test model. Now, this sample is the filter and color sample, and it doesn't work because we have the wrong, type set here. So I'm going to change this to pin. I'm going to reload. Okay, well, this was just working. So I'm not sure why this extension is.
The beauties of live showcase. So are you looking for type? What is the type again?
Maybe you can click on the pin and make sure that it's pin.
Oh, that's strange. The model browser is not available. 1 second.
Yeah, something is amiss on this model now.
Yeah,
when the model tree is not there, you cannot run so that's an interesting point, right? When the model tree is, maybe try to reload the model, but when the model tree is not available, it means that it's missing something, it's not loading for some reason, and you cannot perform search because there is no model tree to test it. Maybe with the sample that you have, the building, that should work better because it's already there.
Yeah. I was just messing around with I just switched back to my main branch. I might have messed up that a little bit.
So what we're looking here is for feedback on ideas, suggestions on where this could be used. Yeah, that's working now. So that you can quickly try some ideas on the left and see your models running. You don't have to set up anything. You don't have to create any project or do anything else. Just open and run it, right? So it should be very straightforward. So suggestions where you'll be using that, anything that you see here that is amiss, questions, everything is welcome.
This looks very useful to me. We haven't gone too far into working with the viewer. We're just starting out, but it's one of the things we intend to do to be able to share our models directly on the website. So I'm happy to see this. Is it available for us to use directly? Is this published and shared?
We are working on it. It's almost ready for beta. And but we are sharing with you to get ideas. So yeah, but almost there. So what would you be using this, Mark?
Our initial uses are pretty straightforward. The very first thing is just so our customers, homeowners, can see the designs that we've come up with. We focus on kitchens and bathrooms. So it's mostly kitchens. So after we've come up with a design, right now we just take some from Revit, take some snapshots of the schematic layout and share those as JPEGs on the website. But with this, we'd be, with the viewer, we should be able to, let them come into our portal and, see their kitchen in 3D and pan around and zoom in and out, and all those fancy things. Next steps then would be able to click on a particular cabinet and, change it from, a couple of doors to a set of drawers or to a trash pullout or something else. So, those are the first couple of use cases.
Yeah, sounds interesting. So the point is that this is really meant for developers, meaning there is a code here, right? The viewer that you see on the right, you can do that today, right? You don't need to wait for this playground. The playground is really for testing. So if you want to implement those,
I understand that. But in order to get it right, to be able to implement new features, this is helpful for a developer to figure that out.
No, just to separate, right? Because if an end user sees lots of code, they'll say, "Yeah, of course, it's way too much."
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
And we're implementing also an export feature. So if you're prototyping something here, you'll actually be able to export, and this will be included in a zip file bundle. So yeah, and that
Cool.
will be .NET and Node.js implementations for now.
Hi guys, it's Michael
Hi,
here.
Michael. Hello.
I would like to know if you have any release date to that we will be available for us to use
Yeah.
and to try it.
It's always a tricky question, right? We are moving into beta, which means for a product will be available for you to test, right? So will be labeled as
Yeah.
beta. Once we do that, we are going to share, right? But it's almost there. So Elliot is working on this internship as this is the project of the internship, and we are soon we'll be moving to beta. So almost there.
Yep. Yep. Very, very soon.
Okay, looking forward.
We're excited with that as well. So thank you. So what do you plan to use this? Any use cases?
Oh, actually, I think it's really useful during the development, so we can test it quickly because sometimes it's depending. I'm used to work with very big models.
Mhm.
So to test it, specific points would be really useful. Would be increase my productivity. I think it would be.
But for
really
very
nice
large
to have it.
for very large models, why do you need for large models and not for what? Can you elaborate a bit more?
I think it would be faster to run and to test using this feature.
Mhm.
Than to like use the VS Code to put my code, try to run it, and then
Okay.
to open the browser and everything. I think you have the code and the interface in the same window would be much easier as
Mhm.
well to test the code.
So one of the things that Elliot mentioned is that for now we are planning to have the models hosted for 24 hours. But when we have a very large model, right, it takes some time to translate, and you may need longer than that. So is it a problem to be 24 hours, or would you be willing to uh, customize it and make it more than 24 hours? Any reason for that? What do you think about the time limit?
Yeah, would you like 24 hours, a week, a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, because actually if I'm going to test on my models, would be better to have more than 24 hours
Mhm.
because it's for industrial projects, like very
Okay.
big models. But to test specific features of my code, I think it doesn't really matter because I can do just example to upload there and to
Okay.
have what I need. So I think 24 hours is good to test small features. But if I want to test bigger one in the real model, 24 hours would be better to have more than 24 hours for this.
Makes
So
sense.
I'm gonna be a bit more explicit. You know, if it's only 24 hours and it takes 2 hours to process a model, you know, you basically don't want to do any work after lunch, because by the time it processes, there's not much time left. Then you go home, you come back the next morning, and the thing's you're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the reason I'm asking about the time, of course, we can always change the time, right? But one of the ways to extend that time is by asking you to provide your client ID and secret. So now it's a question, right, for you and Mark and anyone else, right? So when you click on load model to upload your model, instead of simply uploading a model, would it be okay to ask you to provide your client ID and secret, even if it's just a new test in client ID and secret?
Yeah, for me it's okay. No problem.
Thank you. Anyone else? What do you think about that? providing client ID and secret here for uploading your own models. Or is that too complicated?
For me or anybody else?
Anyone, you as well, right? What do you think about that?
This would just be for testing purposes?
Yes.
Okay.
So to
we
run
could also
your
provide like a signed S3 link, right? That way we wouldn't have to share our secret key.
Yeah, so your secret key for Forge, right? Not for AWS.
Oh, I see.
It does strike me, Augusto, and I know you're hoping somebody in the audience is going to answer, but everybody's being quiet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question about, somebody's new, they don't even know if they want to use the viewer, and, asking them to get an account and a secret key and like you have to do that would not be a good thing for kind of newbie. I'm not sure I want to do this. Maybe I want to use Three.js. Let me go see. Versus somebody like Mark, who's like, yeah, pretty sure I want to use the viewer. It's got what I want. And maybe I've got big honking models, and it would be nice to have the option of, keeping them around longer. So I don't have to upload them once a day.
Yeah. Makes sense. Cool.
I don't know if you have anything planned for this, but would be nice to connect to ECC or BIM 360 as well, because there we have already your models.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So it's on our list to allow you to get models from different sources. We start with this one that you can upload here, but then you can also import from from others. I don't know, Drive or BIM 360 or whatever. Right? But yeah, definitely there. Thank you, Mike.
Nice.
We are just out of time. Thank you very much, Elliot. That is very nice. Evolving really fast. Thank you. With that, let me close up here. So the next coffee break. Thank you again for joining today. Very nice. Thanks for the question and discussion. Next coffee break on the 24th. Same link, same address. And see you soon. Thank you very much for joining today.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah, bye.
Bye. Thank you.